Hello, my name is Andrew Flushy. I'm a Virginia traffic attorney. If you're facing a charge of Virginia DUI or DWI, you're probably wondering if you're looking at jail time. The answer is, of course, that it's going to depend upon the specific nature of your case. There's a few rules of thumb, though, that I can give you that are based on Virginia law. First of all, on a first offense, if it's a pretty standard first offense, where it's a low blood alcohol, below a 0.15, and if there was no accident involved, you were just pulled over for speeding or something like that. In most courts, at least where I practice around Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, and Stafford, in those kind of cases, you would normally not be looking at active jail time. Now, what that means is you probably still will be looking at suspended jail time. Suspended jail time just means that you have a period of jail that's hanging over your head. So you're on kind of a probation if you're convicted. And as long as you do everything the court tells you to do, you would normally not go to jail. But if you miss up on something, or you don't do something, or you get into future trouble within a period of time, then you could be looking at active, actual jail time. So that's on kind of a standard first offense, so to speak. Below a 0.15 blood alcohol, with no accident, you were polite, there was no problems with you and the officer, things like that. Now, if it is a first offense and you had a blood alcohol level of 0.15 up to 0.20, what you'd be looking at is the possibility of mandatory minimum jail time of 5 days. And so that basically, because you had a higher blood alcohol, the law says if you're convicted, you have to get 5 days in jail. And then a 0.20 or higher blood alcohol content would mean you would have mandatory jail time of 10 days. Now that's for a first offense. For a second offense case, it gets much more complicated, but let's just leave it as saying that a second offense case, normally you do get actual jail time, even if you had just a 0.08 blood alcohol. If it's a second offense, you're going to normally be looking at some period of mandatory minimum jail time. And the actual amount of time you're looking at is going to depend upon how long ago your first offense was and what your blood alcohol content was. So basically, the way the law works is if the DUI, the first DUI, was a shorter time ago and you had a higher blood alcohol content, you're going to be looking at more mandatory time than if your first DUI was like 9 or 10 years ago and you had a blood alcohol content of just a 0.08. So that's something you definitely want to talk with an attorney about in any case, is what kind of jail time you might be looking at. Now, of course, there's no guarantees, and like I said, there's lots of little factors that can affect possible jail time. But those are some good rules of thumb to think about if you're facing a Virginia DUI.